And it was weird because most people get the subscribers before they get the hours, but I was actually the opposite. I reached the 4,000 watch hours in 9 months. And it wasn't until about 12 months that I reached 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, I was getting more watch time than I was subscribers.
Congratulations.
I was like, I'm looking at it every day, just kept watching it click over to a few more every day. And when it reached 1,000, I was so happy. So that was it felt like such a huge goal.
You've just entered Hexotica, the inner sanctum for creative rebels crafting profitable online businesses and radically self-reliant AF alternative lifestyles. I'm your host, marketing mentor, Christine Rice, and this is episode 40. Hello, lovely guts, and welcome back to the Hexotica podcast, where creativity, business, and a little bit of magic collide. Today, I'm joined by Melbourne-based artist Becky Tregear, who has grown her YouTube channel to over 15.9 thousand subscribers by sharing her love of art, experimenting with new art supplies, and inviting people into the joy of creative play. In this episode, we're talking all about art income streams, how Becky grew her audience on YouTube, what actually helped her channel gain traction, and how she's monetized her creativity to build real income from her art and her content. If you've ever wondered how artists actually make money online while staying creative, you're going to love this conversation. Becky, welcome to the Hexotica podcast. I'm so glad to have you here.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. I'm really excited. I've not done a podcast, so this is just something new for me, and I'm really thrilled to be here.
Well, I am honored to have you as a guest because so I'm just going to tell them how we met. We met like 10 years ago in a goth club on a vampire night.
and that was so completely out of character for me. That was something that I did out of my comfort zone because I'm sort of more of an inner goth. Like I tend not to dress up very much, but I just decided that night I was going to go, in a lovely black dress, and I had the best time, and it was really fun meeting you that night.
Yeah, that was one of the best things that night, meeting you and your husband, and you guys were dressed as vampires. And I was there with my housemate at the time, dressed as the only lovers left alive vampire. So I was the, what's her name? The blonde lady that played in it. I can't remember her name now. Perimenopause brain. It'll come to me. So the blonde vampire, and we met that night. And then how many years ago was it? About 6 or 7 years ago, you decided to start your YouTube channel?
Yes, it's about 6.5 years now. It was
6.5.
Yeah, the first video I put up was Christmas Day, actually, in 2019. I distinctly remember, just for some reason, I wanted to have it come up on Christmas Day. It was painting little inks for an advent calendar, and that's why I just thought it would be fun as a Christmas video. And then it just kind of went on from there.
And I have seen it grown from, I remember when you had your first 100 subscribers, and over the years seeing you post, and it's been such a wonderful thing to see someone put themselves out there, create a channel, and then gather such momentum now. So, and it's funny that you say Christmas Day because in marketing, what I've always noticed with SEO is that is a very, very busy day where a lot of people are online. It's like everybody's off and everybody's on their phones or online, people who, have the time to do it. So it's actually a really good day to put stuff online.
Yeah, although it was more just because the content was Christmassy and it needed to go up then because that's about the time that I had it ready. And I thought if it goes up after, it's going to be missing that little window. And that's just what happened with it. Otherwise, I probably would have started maybe in the new year. But I just thought, well, I've got this calendar, all these tiny inks, and I really want to swatch them out. And I just ended up doing one swatching video and then a painting video with the inks. And I don't even remember if I got many views. I think my husband was my first subscriber, and then maybe my parents. So I had just a handful of subscribers and, a few little views. But that one, I think, got viewed again the next year when people were looking for Christmas content. So it kind of pops up every year. A few people watch it, but otherwise it's just lost into the annals of my it's sort of what would you call it? See, I'm losing a word there. Perimenopause is kicking in. Lost in my very first video, and I sometimes completely forget some of the videos that I have, especially the early ones. And if I watch them again, and I just go, oh my goodness, it's so cringeworthy.
It's great though that with YouTube, and this is one of the reasons why I think YouTube is so good, because it's got the longer shelf life. So those old videos can keep coming up, which never happens on social media.
Oh no, for sure.
The amount of time that you put into a reel that's going to get lost on Instagram is about the same amount it can sometimes take to make a good YouTube video, which will come up year after year like that. So that's pretty amazing. It was it like just a moment of creative inspiration? You're like, oh, I've got a good idea. Or did you kind of have it in the back of your mind that you wanted to start a YouTube channel for a while?
Oh, yeah, definitely in the back of my mind. It took me quite a long time to pluck up the courage to start. I think that was the hardest thing, was actually just putting myself in front of the camera and just starting. I'm like, what do I put up as my first video? So I was watching videos for a couple of years, I guess, artists that were on there. And I was just thinking to myself, I could probably do this. But, I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous. What if no one likes me or watches my videos? And then I just got to a point, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to try. And if it fails, so be it. But it just, kept going. And I think the timing was kind of almost perfect. It was only a few months before COVID happened. And so I kind of had a captive audience. And I think that's actually what really started helping me grow my channel in those early times when I had hardly any subscribers. Because so many people were watching videos, I think more people found me at that time. And then I was just able to build a bit more of an audience a bit quicker than I might have done at any other time in before or after COVID.
That's real divine timing, because you said Christmas 2019, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that was like the best possible time. Considering looking back now.
The fires were starting, those terrible fires that we had in Victoria. And
I was in Bali during that. Yeah, I came back, everything was on fire.
It was just terrible. And just the smoke haze over Melbourne. I remember recording one video and my voice was really croaky just because of the smoke in the atmosphere.
Wow.
And, I'm listening to it and I think I mentioned, it's because of the fires, and people commented like months and months, even years later, oh my goodness, I remember the fires and things like that.
Yeah. For audiences, for my audience who doesn't know what we're talking about, in Melbourne, that November 2019 and throughout December, we had some of the worst fires in Australia that we've had in decades. And when I was in Bali for the month of November, and I remember coming back, and it was like a thick brown haze on my deck. And I was just thinking, oh my God, all those poor birds in the trees, like how are they even breathing right now? Because it was literally killing birds. It was so thick. And that was one of the worst. So I remember that. And we all had to stay inside for our health. We were getting health advisories telling us to stay indoors because the air quality was so bad. So we were all online.
And then of course, rumors of COVID were starting at the same time, and of course it was called coronavirus then. But then the cruise ships happened, and it's sort of scary that it's kind of happened again a little bit recently with the hantavirus, and it's just like almost a repeat of it. Although I hope this time around it's going to be,
But they say it doesn't spread as fast, so I don't think that it will take off like that. But we're still seeing some of the irresponsible people who just are flying without, even wearing a mask kind of bullshit. So, so you just decided one day to do it, and well done, because that fear of getting started is really what holds a lot of people back.
Oh, it really is.
You just have to get started. That getting started is the hardest thing. I was shocked when I started this podcast to learn that most people who start a podcast never get past the third episode.
Wow.
So that's like, you can get started, but then just staying started, keeping it going can also be another hurdle. But the first hurdle of starting it is always the hardest. And you just got to jump in and have that mindset. Like, what could you lose? Right? Yeah. Like, it's just do it. Yeah. And so who's your channel for?
Really, it was for myself to begin with. Almost, I just thought it would be a fun way just to kind of almost, when you're sounding bored, like you soundboard off someone else when you're sort of thinking of ideas. And I almost did it like that. But I just wanted to share in my own pleasure and joy of, rediscovering art as an older person, because I had done it, sort of off and on throughout my life. But then there was a big period where I did no art, and then I just kind of came back into it. That always finds me again. And I love that. I think really it was for myself, but I also realized that there's probably a lot of other people around my age that have the same sorts of, interests. Not a lot of people in my, I guess, family group and that are really interested in art. So it was a way for me to talk to people and find people who are interested in it. So it's really just for anyone who enjoys art, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned professional. And just if you enjoy a variety of art, like exploring different mediums and just enjoying the process of making art rather than necessarily having to have amazing masterpieces at the end of it, because it's just for me a lot more about therapy as well. It's just my happy place. So it's a lot about that as well. And it's definitely therapy for me at the moment. Myself going through perimenopause has been extremely difficult, particularly in this last year. And I've had to change quite a lot of things in the channel as well.
Fuck yeah. It's been so hard for me too. It's really, it's beautiful that your creative joy is what allowed you to do that. And it's such a good message to tell people that you don't have to go into it with the idea that you are going to make some money. It can just be your own creative passion. You can just do it for yourself, and you can just be that, just following that divine guidance that you have to get something creative out there. It doesn't have to be some grandiose thing, but it actually does become that, because you are the example of what a lot of people wish that they could do, which is just to have fun, right?
I think maybe that's some of my success so far, is that I really just did stick to being myself, and I went into it with the idea that I wanted to do it because I enjoy art. I love it so much, and money is kind of a secondary thing to that. I mean, obviously, we all want to make lots of money and be super successful, but sometimes the money can get in the way of what, the true creativity. And I think sometimes you kind of have to set that aside and just really focus on what's important, which is the creative process. I'm having a perimenopause moment. In my experience, there we go. Oh my gosh, that is the worst thing, is losing words. I keep doing it. It's very frustrating, always at the worst possible moment.
Yeah. Completely understand.
But so the money is definitely something which has helped keep me going, because I don't know if I could have kept it going without earning something to sort of, continue putting things into the channel, getting some new art supplies and just new equipment. So money is definitely important, but it's not the most important thing.
Yeah. And so when you started the channel, did you have a full-time job at the time?
Actually, no, that's why it's sort of kind of the planets were aligning, because I was a photographer and I was doing that full time. And I did events and I did a few weddings and quite a lot of portraiture work in my studio, which I'm in now. This used to be my photography studio. And the work started to sort of dry up, and I was getting a little bit burnt out around 2018. And I just decided to myself, I really just need to take a break from this. And so I thought, well, I'm kind of, at the same time I was getting interested in traditional art again. And so I thought I might do a course online. And fortunately, my husband just supported me through this, thankfully. So, he was earning a good income, and that allowed me to be able to do this. Otherwise, I would have had to have looked for another job at that time. But through that burnout, I spend a lot of time doing some online study about art and just getting a bit more into the technical side of things, because I am completely self-taught, and so everything I've done is off my own bat. And then it was around that time that I started painting in earnest, and I was getting a few of my paintings hung in a few gallery exhibitions.
Well done.
Just local ones, nothing too massive. And I thought, well, maybe that's something that I can pursue. And my father and I actually got a gallery exhibition together out where he lives in country Victoria. And we had that happen, and that was literally just before COVID. We just finished the when was it? It was February that we had the exhibition, and it just finished up in about 2 weeks before lockdown happened. So it was in that time, I was thinking, I'm going to do another gallery art exhibition after this. And then everything just went to hell.
Yeah.
And, I had no job. And I just thought, well, I've got the YouTube, maybe I can get it to monetize. And that's exactly how I got here.
Perfect timing, divine timing, really. And if my audience doesn't know, we here in Melbourne had the longest lockdowns in the entire world. We had a total of 16 weeks at one time, and then we had repeated lockdowns after that. We were going fucking crazy. Like I understood the need for it, and I'm glad that we did it because we kept a lot of people safe and alive. But it was hard. It was hard.
It was so hard. And basically the filming and the art just kept me going. It was the only thing I really had. My husband was also working from home at that time because he's in pharmaceuticals. So they were, absolutely needed at that time. But he worked almost entirely from home during COVID, except for the occasional time when he had to go in for something. But yeah, so we basically just spent, what feels like about 2 years sort of at home together.
Wow. It was like a good 2 years until life got back to normal. Yeah. Your videos would have helped a lot of people too, being stuck at home. They would have been, your friends and family would have probably been watching, and you picked up new people who are experimenting with the art supplies. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a really good time for that. A lot of people were just starting to make art just for something to do. And so I think I did gain quite an audience through that as well. Beautiful. And it was just beautiful timing. But, I've had people who have watched me since the beginning, and they're still there, and they are just the most amazing people. They have kept me going in the times where I've been just thinking, what am I doing? I want to give up. But at the same time, I feel like I need to give them some videos because they're there every week watching, and I feel like I'd let them down if I wasn't there. So it's sort of a little reason why it's kept loyalty. Me going. And I just really love that I've made all of these sort of friends who I've never met, but just there's so many lovely people in the art community, and it's just been fabulous.
That's so beautiful. I had the fortunate experience of doing the social media management for an artist, and her community was just incredibly supportive, incredibly beautiful. And I really loved doing her social media because being among artists, sharing art, it was just such a positive thing all the time. There was never any trolling or anybody on other clients' accounts when they would just complain, why are you selling something like why are you trying to make a living? People get that a lot online, like you're a scammer if you're trying to make a living. But the art one was just fantastic. I loved it. So can you tell me when did you start monetizing and making money, and what has your channel what's been the real highlights of having the channel besides the community, obviously, which would be a massive good reason to do it?
Well, it was definitely a really great day when I actually monetized it, when I got the note from YouTube saying you've reached all of the things that need to be done. What's it?
4,000 eligibility. Woohoo!
Now I'm so happy. I'm so excited. And 1,000 subscribers. And it was weird because most people get the subscribers before they get the hours, but I was actually the opposite. I reached the 4,000 watch hours in 9 months. And, and it wasn't until about 12 months that I reached 1,000 subscribers. So, I was getting more watch time than I was subscribers.
Congratulations.
I was like, I'm looking at it every day, just kept watching it click over to a few more every day. And when it reached 1,000, I was so happy. So that was it felt like such a huge goal. And in the it took a few days, I think, or about a week or so, because you have to sort out your bank accounts and things that they hook up with so that Google can pay you directly. And it's, it's a little bit of admin in there, but it started happening the following month. So 13 months in, I would say, is when I started properly earning. And you have to earn, I think it's $100 in a month for it to be paid out. And if it doesn't, then it rolls over to the next month until you get to that threshold. So that very first month I earned $80, I think. And I was so happy. I was like, I can't believe I earned $80. But of course I didn't get paid out. So that rolled over to the following month. And then after that, I kept always, getting above $100, and then it started to rise. And It's one of those things, though, it's not always stable. Some months are better than others, especially around maybe November, December is usually the best time to get a lot of money and views. And
when
then
people are on vacation, they're online. I've noticed that with SEO. Yeah, it's a great time to put out content.
Yes. And then sometimes, usually March and May, I tend to get better views as well. And then other months, it sort of slumps down. Although I've never had it so bad that I've never, not earned something. But, it's just a little bit of, it's sort of hard to know what's going to kind of pay out as well. It's like I'll upload a video thinking, oh, this is really good and everyone's going to watch it, and hardly anyone will watch it. And something else out, which is just like, a silly little video or something. And for some reason it gets so many more views. So it can be quite hard to predict what's actually going to be successful. So I really just try to do the videos that I want to do, because I know that I can be more authentic in it, and I'm going to enjoy it as well as putting it up, rather than thinking of the money. And it's going to do what it's going to do. I can't control it once it's online as much. It either gets picked up by the algorithm or it doesn't, and people decide if they want to watch it or not. So there's a little bit of a gamble in that, and a bit of luck as well.
Yeah, I think it's so important to just do those videos. Like the 2 videos that I did that were just kind of like, I just want to do them for me, which were on being an American in Australia, and another one on enshittification and trusted house sitters, because I was so angry about it, the perimenopausal rage. And those 2 have done the best on my channel. I'm like, I do all this business and marketing channel for, creatives, but those 2 that were just done, like, I just want to do this for me, are the most popular, so there's something to that, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely the way. And it can be so frustrating when you've put your heart and soul into something and it just tanks. And it's just like, oh, I just want to give up. And it's like, what am I doing here? But then,
so true.
Like my most recent video, I did just a bunch of cheap Kmart art supplies. And for some reason, the Kmart videos do really well, even with Americans. Although a lot of them, and I need to actually explain it in a video, that Kmart America is different to the Australian one, because Americans tend to go, oh, I didn't know there were Kmarts still around. But actually, it's a totally different company now. But yeah, for some reason, the Kmart videos are just really popular, especially with the Aussie audience. And whenever I do anything that's Australian related, I do get quite a lot of people coming to see that. Although my audience is, a lot of it is, at least half would be American.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So your YouTube streaming income was first. I mean, the payment from YouTube. And what came second after that? Did you then start to add on other income streams?
Yes. So even now, YouTube tends to be my primary one that is, just constant, like I'm getting paid out every month. And because I review a lot of art supplies and things like that, I also got into Amazon affiliates. So I've got affiliate links going for Australia, but also the USA, because USA is my best paying one, because I have the most audience there, and UK, which is not as good as the other 2. But I get regular payouts from both Australia and America as well. And America started, they were able to pay into an Australian bank account. So that's why I thought I'd hook that up. So that's kind of little streams coming in that sort of join up to make, a bigger chunk of money.
And you just make the content that you want, that makes you happy. And then you're getting paid from people finding those links. And if anyone doesn't know, affiliate links are, what you do is you sign up to the Amazon affiliate program, and then any products that you buy or use that you want to share how to use them, you can put the link to it under, and it's got a little bit of tagging to link back to you. So you get a small little tip, a little commission. Yeah. And if a lot of people buy those products that you recommend, then it can add up over time. So that's what affiliate income in it is. And it's one of the most passive ways to make money online. If you can recommend software or products or anything that you buy or use with a link, every time someone uses that link, you get a small tip. So that's great. And I'll also mention that it doesn't actually cost the person any extra money to do that.
that's really important, because I know that if I was clicking on an affiliate link and knowing that it was going to cost me extra, I would be less likely to do so. But because it is, completely free, it's okay to click on that, and it just gives your favorite creators just that little bit more money, and it really does make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Honestly, it has made a big difference for me.
Whenever I go to buy anything that I know is like quite popular, or if I want to sign up to a software, I will actively go out and find usually female or gender diverse creatives who, I feel like need a bit of support in the world. I'll go and find their affiliate link. Like I just paid for a year subscription for Go High Level, and I got an affiliate link from a friend of mine. So I get support, and she's been giving me marketing support. So yeah, it's a great way to support people, and it doesn't cost you anything. Yeah.
And there's quite a few other companies which I've had art supplies from that do affiliate programs as well. So I've signed up to a few of them, and some of them paid out quite well. At one point, it was one particular product. It was I wouldn't even know what to call it, like a little painting pot, but it also had a little section that you could put paints into and things like that. And it was just an all-in-one carry kit, really. And quite a few people bought that, and that, was quite a lucrative thing. It was only for a little while that sort of paid out until the video, disappeared into my pile of videos. But it was a significant amount of money. It was a couple of $100, just for putting up a link and doing literally nothing else. It was worth the money for sure.
It's really passive. It's so simple, just a link there. And the commission payouts can be so good sometimes. They can be up to 40%. So 40% of the pay that someone used to buy the caddy is going to Becky, that's a really good payout. If it was that high. What are some other tips that you have around YouTube for any creatives who might want to start making some videos themselves with their creative talents? Like what would be like your number one tip that you would give?
My number one tip is you're going to be in it for the long haul. If you want to make money out of it, it's probably not going to happen straight away. I mean, there are a few people that are instantly successful, but they're kind of at the top of that bell curve. Most people are in the center, and it is going to take quite a lot longer to do so. And I think really it's just being consistent, showing up. And so at the moment, I'm putting out a video every single week. I don't think I've missed a week since I started. But when I began in the pandemic, I was doing 2 videos a week. And as I got, about 3 years into it, I just started to get, really tired, especially when everything opened up and I wanted to go out and do some other things as well. I just thought, this is getting too much. So why don't I move it down to 1 a week and see how I go? And sometimes I'll do 2 a week if I've got a bit of extra content, but particularly this year when perimenopause has really kicked in for me and I've been exhausted, 1 a week is more than enough. I've struggled a little bit to meet that, but it was, my top priority was to keep the channel going, because that's really important. Being consistent, showing up every week or every, whatever you want to do. Some people do it every day, and I don't know how they do it, but good luck to them if they can manage that.
1 a week is a huge accomplishment. That's amazing. I think that is incredible. And that is enough to keep you bumped up every week, to keep new subscribers coming in. And it helps to give a little boost to all the other videos that are on there when you put new, fresh content on there. Do you SEO optimize your videos?
I guess I go through, when I fill out all of the information online, the titles and the description, I also go through, and there's a little box there that says tags, and I fill that up. So now some people say it's not worth doing because it doesn't do anything, but I'm always of the opinion that I'd rather do it now rather than all of a sudden, these are really important, then I have 500 videos that I need to tag. So that's pretty much all I do. I try and tag as many, keywords in as I can, and that's pretty much it for me at the moment. I haven't done a great deal off YouTube. It's basically everything that I have gained so far has been from YouTube, and posting a few links up on my Instagram and Facebook. Okay.
I was about to ask you, where else do you market online? So Instagram and Facebook. I've seen you post them on your personal profile a lot too. Not a lot, but occasionally.
I used to a bit more, but that Facebook's sort of gotten a bit too difficult to see people's posts. And so, I'm kind of pulling away from Facebook a little bit just because of that, although I am still posting on my Becky Tregear art page, but I definitely get most of my audience from YouTube. And I thought it would be better to focus just on one thing rather than trying to do lots of different social medias, because I knew I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah, so, they often say, if you can do it, like, it's hard for us ADHD, but if you can focus down on one, that is a very good strategy.
Yeah.
Do you do any shorts?
I've tried a couple, and my most recent one, it was just at a Chinese New Year celebration, and they put on this amazing show. It was at the Glen Shopping Centre, and I just followed around with my camera filming it, and I thought I'll turn it into a short and put it up, and it was quite a bit of fun. But I've found that shorts haven't really taken off the same way. It feels like it needs to be either shorts or long form content. It's quite hard to do the two, and shorts really don't make that much money. They only make like essences.
Okay. Interesting.
You've got to get millions of views for them to be worth something. Right. Content gets paid much higher.
I didn't realize that they have different monetization levels. I did notice that your titles and the things that you do are very specific. And I know with YouTube, one of the top pieces of advice that I've gathered from YouTubers who are experts and who teach YouTube is that if you answer a very, very specific question that nobody has answered, it can be like really crazy, like how to peel an apple or something. Yeah. Those can get like massive amounts of views because there's people who would be Googling like how to tie a tie or how to peel an apple or something. And I did notice with yours that they are very specific to the products. So that's probably a real strength there, mentioning the brand and the products specifically.
Oh, yeah, it's really important to make the title actually about the video. Like sometimes you'll see videos with really clickbaity titles, and then when you get into it, it's absolutely nothing like what you're expecting. And I really hate that deception. So I want people to know exactly what they're getting. So I try to make my titles as specific as possible. And it's funny, now you're mentioning it, sometimes I'll look up a product that I've used, and then the first video that comes up is my own. And I'm going, oh, look, there's my video. So I do get some subjects, my videos will pop up first, especially if it's a product that not many other people have reviewed or talked about. So, yeah, occasionally I'm sort of at the top of the SEO line there, just randomly.
So what are your aspirations for the channel? What are you hoping like that it will continue to provide for you or your lifestyle?
Well, I definitely like for it to continue to grow. I'm 6 years into it. I can't quit now. I just really want to keep going. I mean, there is quite a lot that I want to do, but just at the moment, it's been very difficult because I am a one-woman show. I'm making the art, I'm filming it, I'm editing, I'm uploading, and just doing all of that has taken all of my energy, especially lately. So I would like to branch out into selling merch and maybe getting some paid sponsorships eventually, other ways that I can increase my revenue. I'd like to maybe sell some prints. And these are all things that I've been, wanting to do for a while, but I'm just a bit scared, or it's, I'm exhausted, and it's just getting that next step up has been quite difficult for me, but I'm hoping to get there one day. I know if I keep trying, I will.
Yes.
My first thing was to actually build an audience. I didn't want to try and sell something before, without anyone knowing who I was, because I figured that would probably fail and I would get very discouraged. Whereas if I have an audience of people who know me, then when I do put out a product, then I might get a bit more interest, and hopefully it will be, more of a success that way. So just doing baby steps and just figuring it out as I go along.
I think you have the absolute perfect mindset for long-term success, which is that everything that you're doing, like you mentioned with the tagging of your videos, you have a long haul mindset. You are focused on the you're not waiting for things to happen overnight. You know that everything, growth, expanding your income is going to be baby steps all the way. And it's just about continuing to take those baby steps and to work through the feelings of fear or imposter syndrome, just step by step. Like, you don't have to make any like huge changes, but you have to think long term, and you do just have to have that mindset that you just keep taking the step. And it's like climbing the mountain, right? One step at a time. Just look at the next step in front of you, and eventually you'll be at the top.
Yes. And not everything is going to work. That's the other thing. I've had plenty of little failures and videos that have just completely flopped, and I've just gone, I feel like such a failure. But I also tend to, once I've got an video uploaded and I have watched it once through myself just to, make sure it gets an extra view, I basically forget about that video and then I'm on to the next thing. I find if I, spend too much time looking at the analytics page, I can get quite, depressed or, questioning myself and what am I doing wrong? I do look at the analytics, for some ideas and things. Like, for example, a video a few weeks ago didn't do very well. And I'm thinking, why is this video just not working? And AI has sort of started appearing in YouTube, but they've got a good thing where you can ask questions. And it looked like it was analyzing my video and it says, okay, this video actually got less range, so YouTube didn't put it out as far. But they said that the people that watched it are your loyal viewers, and they actually watched it for a longer time. So it did give some positives in that this view got more attention, but it just didn't get seen by as many, non-subscribers, and that's why it didn't do so well. And I was like, okay, so it's not my fault as such, it's just the way of it. And I felt a bit better for that. But then I just thought, okay, let's get on to the next one. And that's what I do, just move on to the next one, keep going.
Such a good mindset. Those analytics, one thing that annoys me about it is that they want you to check them every week, right? But week to week, you're going to see a lot of downturns, little red like notifications. Oh, this is going down. This is going down. I refuse to look at I don't refuse, but I check the analytics weekly, but I keep that kind of mindset. Like, it's more important to look at what happened over a month rather than week by week. And it's so important to not be attached to those numbers. Don't be attached to the numbers, be attached to your vision and your creativity and your inspiration and who you're serving, those loyal followers. And they were there. So, that's the important thing, is that they were there and they enjoyed it.
And they're the most important people. Really, because they come back every time, and I've just treasured that so much, as well as gaining new subscribers. It's always lovely when someone says, this is my first time watching you and I'm a new subscriber. That always makes me feel really great too. So, it's a combination of all the people that I already know, plus all these people that I've met just now and all these people that I haven't met yet.
I love that. And it's often, those are the things that make it so worth it. When somebody says, they listened to an episode and they just really enjoyed it and they got so much from it. It's that one person that matters so much more than all the numbers. If the numbers are all in the red, it's like, fuck that. That's for one person that made their day. It helped them get inspired to take action, to do something. It helped them with their life. And that's what I feel like I'm here for, is I want to inspire women and gender diverse creatives to take action, to make money from their creative dreams, or to just have the courage that you've had with starting this channel and having this passion project. I love it.
It's been scary, but it's also been amazing. I just feel like I'm actually where I'm meant to be after, a lot of years of trying different jobs and just not being able to sort of hold on to them because I got bored and it just wasn't right for me. And then this feels like I've finally found my niche, and here I am, and I'm just going to keep going with it as long as I possibly can.
And you said earlier that you thought maybe you had undiagnosed ADHD, which if you do, that would explain why it was so hard for you to find your place. And that was exactly my experience too, of just going from job to job, not being able to hold long office jobs for a long term. I'd get really bored after about 9 months. And I felt like I just couldn't find my place. But having my own brand, my own creative kind of vision, I feel like I finally have the purpose. I feel like I'm on a mission now. It's like everything kind of comes together and I feel really inspired. Is that how you feel with yours?
Definitely. It's like you've sort of been a compass going all over the place, and then suddenly you find true north, and then you can just keep going in that direction, and it just feels so right once you actually find it. But it can be really hard to find that. And it's only since I've been going through perimenopause that I think I had probably masked ADHD symptoms for most of my life. But I'm kind of going on a journey at the moment. I haven't actually, been to get diagnosed or anything like that, but I've been reading a lot about it, and a lot of it just makes so much sense, even from childhood. There were things that I just couldn't do at the time. It took me, I was in the top of my class, but certain other things I just couldn't learn, like how to ride a bike. It took me just years and years to learn. Everyone else could do it, and I just could not learn how to ride a bike. And then one day it was almost like something switched on, and I could ride a bike. It just came to me suddenly. And I've had that happen any number of times. And then I've also had interests, many interests in my life. And then it's like something switches off, and then I'm just no longer interested. And this doesn't seem to be very sort of what I would call, I guess, neuronormal. Because everyone else around me seems to be able to, hold a job for a long time, or, do things for years and years and never get bored. Whereas I just, been flipping from one thing to another. And even in my arts channel, that's why I do a lot of things, because I just can't do one thing all the time. It just, I lose
interest.
It's so boring.
Yeah, the ADHD brain needs novelty. It needs change. It needs challenges. We get bored so quickly. So yeah, it's about pursuing all those different interests and having a space or a brand or a business where you can pursue lots of different ideas on your own terms. Yeah.
So that's, I think, the biggest reason why I love doing this is the freedom of it. I think going back to a job for me now where someone's a boss and tells you when you have to work, I just could not do it.
No fucking way. Never again.
Because there's some days where I just cannot face people, or I just want to be dressed in my slob clothes and, just doing something on the computer and not having to look at people or anything like that. And this job, lets me do that. And then other days, I'm really wired up to get a video done, and I might get a whole bunch of stuff done on one day. And then other days I'm just really tired and I just need to take some time for myself. So mental health days are super important, and I do take those a bit more regularly than I used to, actually, just because of the menopause symptoms which took over my life at the start of the year particularly. And since I've started actually on hormone replacement therapy, and it's made a big difference. I've started to get my life back, and that's been a huge help for me to get back on track, because I was falling apart at the start of the year.
I haven't got on it yet, and I am falling apart. Like the lack of sleep, the hot flashes, the feeling like itchy, feeling brain fog. That it's just I know I need to go and get on it, but I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to go on it as well, because there's so much sort of misinformation out there, and it's just a really, tough thing. Oh, don't go on HRT because this, that, and the other thing. And there was that study done, in 2000 that, said it causes cancer. And that was completely, that's been completely debunked since then. But a lot of doctors, I think, still carry that, it's like this fear that they can't prescribe it because it's going to cause cancer, when actually, probably plenty of other things that are causing the cancer, not actually the HRT. And so I think, it's really only just starting to become something that, I guess we're talking about as Gen Xers and millennials, now that we're going through it. Our grandmothers never talked about it. And I went to just knowing nothing.
It's hard to, I think back and I'm like, oh my God, my mother was going through this. And I just, no idea. It was only just an article by, what's her name? That writer, Moran. I can't remember her name, Moran. A few years back, and I was like, wow, so this is what perimenopause is. I had no idea. It's like a switch in your brain that switches off the serotonin, and suddenly all the resilience that we had to put up with men's bullshit or children screaming or crying is gone. And that's like the rage comes forward, and then your hormones are like a roller coaster, and it's like, I was
so angry for a while there. I was having these terrible mood swings, and I was snapping at Nick, and I feel really bad because he was just doing nothing other than being a man, and he's such a good man. He's been so supportive. He's just helped me get through this quite a lot as well, because he's actually been interested in the subject. So, being a scientist himself, he's got a bit of knowledge. And so, he's kind of been on this journey with me, and, I have to thank him profusely for putting up with my my absolute nonsense, but I couldn't help it. I
Yeah.
was waking up in the night full body sweats at one point.
I'm going through that now. Yeah.
Oh, it's just
Wow.
awful. And it was like my skin felt like it was crawling off me. I was waking up in the night going, I'm panicking. I just want to pull my skin off. It was terrifying. And, it's a really hard time for women. And so many just don't get any support that they need. And it's not good.
And the rage is unfortunately not even the worst of it. The worst of it is the depression and the fact that I was shocked, but I'm not surprised now that I'm going through it, that the majority of women committing suicide happens between the ages of 45 and 55, because we get to some of those days where we're just like, it's not worth it. My body's falling apart. I'm getting older. If you have certain circumstances in your life, like if you're in survival mode, it's going to be really hard to get through those days. So I absolutely think if the support is out there, if you're feeling that you cannot cope with your body or with the thoughts that you're having, go and get HRT, because other studies have shown that it's actually really good for bone density, for a lot of different things.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And estrogen really affects the brain as well. So it's super important to have, for all parts of our body. It's not just a reproductive thing by any means.
Hair, skin, collagen.
Exactly.
I've been losing my hair in chunks.
That's another symptom.
So it's
it's a nightmare. And it's it's like you mentioned that it's a time where women tend to take their lives, and that actually happened to someone I know in January. She took her own life, same age as me. And it was absolute, it just came out of nowhere. Although there were signs, she'd mentioned a few things on Facebook, little sort of comments that she wasn't doing well and things. And, I sort of feel like maybe I should have reached out. She's not a super close friend, but, I was quite friendly with her. And I was thinking, I wish I could have reached out and just said, are you okay? And, that's something that I'm sort of carrying, and I've been trying to work through. It's like no one could have known, because even her closest people just didn't realize it was going to happen. It was very sudden. And I think she might have been going through some perimenopausal symptoms as well. And she'd had a lot of other, I think she was getting arthritis and things like that. And I've read that menopause can kind of bring these things on as well. And
I've started to get that. Yep. I'm getting a lot of it.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if maybe that, led to her severe depression and, ending her life. And it was devastating. So, I'm still devastated months later. I think about her and just think, oh my goodness, that could be me if I don't do something about, dealing with my thoughts and feelings, which were just sort of getting out of control. I had to change doctors. I had to find someone that deals in perimenopause, and that made a big difference. They actually listened. Yay.
I am lucky. I do have a good GP, and I know that she will help me when I go and get it, because I am planning to get it. Yeah. I do strongly encourage any women who are going through it that help get our HRT or get the help, because you can't really trust your thoughts right now. You can't trust your thoughts. They're going to take you to dark places, and your rage and everything is, a lot of it has to do with hormones. And I didn't even realize for quite a few years that that's what it was, because I've had symptoms for about 5 years. And the first thing was like severe anxiety, and I just started having panic attacks out of nowhere, and I'm going, what the hell's wrong with me? It wasn't, but now I know that it has to have been the start of it. I'm looking forward to getting past it. We're going to get past it. We're going to get through this. And in the meantime, if we can just keep our creative businesses going, stay consistent, stay making the content. So thank you so much for your time, Becky. Before we finish, can you tell everyone where to find you online?
So you can find me mainly on YouTube at Becky Tregear Art. That's where I usually hang out. And I'm also on Instagram at Becky Tregear, and you might find me on Threads as well. I'm in there somewhere. And also on Facebook at Becky Tregear Art. So I'm in a few places. I haven't got a website yet. That's something else that I want to build in the future.
I haven't got a website. See, that's great. See, she's making money. She's got this channel and no website. I'm often telling people you don't have to have a website to get started. And that's an example.
No, I think if you, like I said before, if you focus just on one thing, it's actually usually better than trying to do too many things at once, because that's going to lead to burnout very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll leave the link to all of those in the show notes, so anyone who wants to find Becky can do that easily. Just finishing off now, Becky, do you have any finishing thoughts that you'd like to say about creative passion, pursuing creativity, or just living through perimenopause?
I think if I've just to say 3 words, never give up. There's always a way around it. If you need help, please go and look for it. I mean, we have everything at our fingertips. If you look at up the Menopause Society, that's a really good place to start for something like that. And if you're starting a YouTube channel, just be, expect to maybe make a few terrible videos to begin with, because we all do. That's everyone who starts off is not going to be perfect, and you're just going to learn as you go along. And I just say stick with it and enjoy the ride. Good advice. Thank you so much, Becky. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.